For the first time since Trump took office, look how they will spend their weekend. President Trump has been working hard ever since his first day in the Oval Office. His world has gone from being about business deals and grandkids to revolving around world policy and treating all of America like a family he has to protect. To say that he's been busy would be the understatement of the century. He and the First Lady have been mostly apart for the last few months as she kept their New York residence with their son, Barron, so that he could finish the school year where he started it. That has changed now though, as Melania and her son have officially moved into the White House and the family is slated to be there together until the end of his tenure as president, so hopefully for the next 7.5 years. This came right around the president's first birthday while in office, and both events are a time for celebration. Also, with Father's Day coming up, the family has quite a lot to celebrate. With all these events no doubt in mind, the president and his family have decided to carry on a proud tradition that presidents for decades have been observing. He's headed to the presidential retreat at Camp David. This will be his first visit to the retreat since taking office, though it's not likely to be his last. Via Washington Top News. Nearly 5 months into his presidency, Trump flew for the first time Saturday to Camp David, the government-owned retreat in Maryland's Catoctin Mountains. A frequent weekend traveler, Trump has favored his palatial residences in Florida and New Jersey over the wooded hideaway used by many presidents for a break from Washington. Trump's wife, Melania, their son, Barron, and the First Lady's parents, Victor and Melania, joined the president for the overnight at Camp David. Trump was scheduled to return to the White House on Sunday. Presidents have been going to the refuge about 70 miles from the White House for 7 decades, and not always just for a rest. Franklin D. Roosevelt met with British Prime Minister Winston Churchill there in 1943, reviewing plans for the invasion of Normandy. Jimmy Carter used it for peace talks between Egypt and Israel. George H. W. Bush's daughter Dorothy, or Doro, got married there. Everything that a president needs in the White House is built in there, says Anita McBride, who was First Lady Laura Bush's chief of staff. You have military support. You have a place to house your staff if you chose to use it. It is immediately available, within 20 minutes you can be there. A short drive from the town of Thurmont, Maryland, Camp David covers more than 125 acres, with a cabin for the president and about a dozen cabins for guests. Guests can use tennis courts, a heated swimming pool, a bowling alley and a movie theater. For the golf-loving Trump, there is a single golf hole with multiple tees. Protected by the Marines as part of the Navy budget, Camp David has been utilized more by some presidents than others. By this point in their presidencies, Barack Obama had visited 4 times, George W. Bush 11 times and Bill Clinton twice, according to CBS News' Mark Noer, who tracks presidential travel. Now the manager of the Bollinger family restaurant, she recalls as a child seeing presidents come to the town's Episcopal church. I remember Mr. Eisenhower. I remember Mr. Johnson being there, and Mr. Nixon, she said. Ken Walsh, chief White House correspondent for U.S. News and World Report, wrote about presidential getaways in his book From Mount Vernon to Crawford, A History of the Presidents and Their Retreats. He said many presidents have liked the freedom and security offered by Camp David, where they can spend time outdoors and with their families out of the public eye. The first president to use the retreat was Roosevelt in 1942. He was looking for an escape from Washington's summer heat, while still remaining nearby during World War II. He dubbed the site Shangri-La, but Dwight Eisenhower, a regular visitor, later renamed it after his grandson. John F. Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson were infrequent visitors, though they did use the camp to meet with advisors from time to time. Richard Nixon was a fan of getting away there, as was Ronald Reagan. McBride said George W. Bush loved to ride his bike around the trails, while wife Laura liked to go hiking. It was a place that really refreshed them, she said.